Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. So today I actually wanted to do a little video on how do you know if you actually have a higher calling on your spiritual journey, and also 5 key ways that you can explore your spiritual gifts, which will help you along this path. Now, to answer, how do you actually know if you have a higher calling? Well, really, the answer is you don't. Some people, and this is very, rare, but some people may actually know from an early age that they have a purpose. Potentially, they know what some of their gifts look like, but in terms of how and when they will need to be utilized, really comes later on. When you actually have a higher calling, you are going through multiple tests along your journey that are really shaping you for what's to come. And so therefore, the information really becomes available to you as you ascend on your spiritual journey. I will say, though, that people that have spontaneous awakenings usually are being called towards their higher calling. So if this is you, and even if you don't know, if you have a higher calling initially or not, it is something that you may get to explore a little bit later on as you move further on your journey. Now, the first thing to keep in mind about your spiritual gifts, if you have a higher calling, is that do not restrict yourself to a particular title or a way of, really exploring your spiritual gifts. So for example, let's say you're a twin flame, let's say you are a healer, let's say you are a star seed. You can actually be multiple things at once. We are multidimensional beings and have the ability to pull information from multiple lifetimes. And so this journey could look different to each individual because we are really unique in how we tap into our gifts and use them. And as you go along your journey, they're just going to get stronger, and you may find different ways of making it your unique way of, actually using them. Instead of getting stuck on external research, for example, let's say you find out that you are star seeds or you're intrigued by what star seeds can do not limit yourself with these titles, because essentially you may be able to, as you're ascending on your journey, find, that you can unlock these powers in multiple different ways. So really, you want to focus on your internal meditation, which will, as time goes on, help you expand and enhance your gifts. A second thing to keep in mind about your spiritual gifts is that a lot of this information is actually hidden within you, which you can only unlock as you shift on the journey and as you reach higher states of consciousness. This will become available to you and be revealed to you in little bite-sized chunks. Now, it is also true that you go through multiple tests and lessons to help shape your character on this journey. And so it's not until you go through those hurdles that you really get to learn about what your gifts actually are. Now, the third thing you want to keep in mind about your spiritual gifts is that you will be tested over and over on your journey before you can actually elevate to spiritual levels. So really, you want to take a look at it as building blocks. And this has to do with really testing your character. So, we've talked about this before. It's really the lessons have been designed for you on your journey. And as you progress on your journey, you really should be able to see a shift within your own self. So for example, showing compassion towards others, because this journey is really going to require that. Tests along, the lines of integrity, holding strong boundaries, showing up for yourself and making sure that you stand firm in self-love. So all of these things kind of show up as lessons that you have to kind of go through. And if you don't kind of pass, you kind of got to repeat them over and over. If you're really in tune with what's happening, you may be able to spot them well in advance, and kind of know that, okay, this is showing up. Keep showing up. I get what's happening. And hopefully, if you feel that you didn't do well the last time, you can change your course and make sure that you're showing up a certain way. Sometimes this could be something as simple as, let's say you're somebody who used to get really angry when somebody said something to you because you took it as a personal attack. And now, as you ascend on your journey, when the same situation shows up for you, you actually let them go. You understand that people are showing up because they are dealing with their own traumas. They are, acting from a place of really reaction, but you have a more higher perspective on what's happening. And so, therefore, you don't react in those situations the same way. So this is something that, you might be able to relate to, but it will show up in different ways. For people that maybe have dealt with a lot of narcissists, holding those strong boundaries may get tested when those same people that you really cared about show back up again. How do you handle that situation? Do you have a firm boundary for yourself, or do you let them in because you feel like you're in love with them still? So stuff like that will show up because your character is really being forged in your path that you're kind of going through on this journey. Number 4 is you are actually meant to be a leader and not a follower on this journey. So this could be something as simple as, don't look at other people that are on the spiritual journey and look to mimic them. You can draw inspiration from other people, but understand that this path is about self-mastery, you discovering your own limitless potential, and therefore acting in a way that is going to be suitable to you, authentic to you. And so, looking at others for their advice is okay, but not having your own discernment on your path is going to hurt you. So make sure that you are standing firm and standing tall as an individual on your journey. The 5th one, and my final one, is really that alignment is actually way more important than the action that you take on your journey. And by that, I mean actually showing up in accordance with the divine guidance that you're receiving. Sometimes you may not like a particular direction that the guidance that you're getting is putting you on in terms of the path that you have to walk down. However, you have to be fluid enough and flexible enough to really pivot based on the direction that you are getting. So understand that each time that something like that happens to you, it's again to shape you for what is to come and for the betterment of your own path and journey. In order to always act in alignment with your path, you will need to do what is spiritual maintenance and carry on with your regular practices such as meditation, your regular intention, and really following through on the intuition and guidance that you're getting to make sure that you continue to be in alignment with your path. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful. God bless.